So I'm planning on turning my bedroom into a walk-in wardrobe or dressing room. See how it goes. I'm no expert, this is my first time doing it, so we'll see how it goes. So I bought two media units that were originally black. I got them for £5 each. So they've got drawers on the top, and they've got push in to pop open cupboard space. So I painted all that and sat them on top of one another. I also got this, it was like a kind of dressing table with a bit of glass on top. Again, that was black, and I painted that white, but it took about 3 coats. And I've got a bookcase. So what I'm planning to do is have everything about the same width over here. Then I'll have a kind of like corner unit coming here. What I'm planning to do is build wardrobes on top of that, so it goes to the ceiling, and then I will be building cupboards across that side from floor to ceiling. And I will be putting the chest of drawers, which I painted as well, inside the unit. So we'll see how it goes. So I bought some chipwood. These are 15, I would have preferred 18mm, but they are, let's see, 15 by 600 by 2.4 meters high. I bought this the other day, and it just gives me different angles if I wanted to cut them at different angles, but it also doubles up as a track for when I use my circular saw. And I've got different sizes of clamps there just to clamp this down. I've done my first cut and it seems to go really well, so it makes my job a lot more easier. So I'm just going to measure from the ceiling to the base that I painted, because that's where I want to build the wardrobes, from there up. Make sure it's straight. So it's 143 centimetres from the ceiling to the up top. So let's go and measure. So I've decided to measure and cut everything outside. I just don't want all the cuttings and the sawdust and everything in the house. It takes ages for all that dust to go away. Just going to measure up. 143. And with that ruler in the right angle, I can get a perfectly straight angle on it. There we go. Just check the other side just to make sure that it's true. That's pretty spot on. So what you want to do is set your saw to the correct depth, which should just be 1 millimetre or 2 just below the board. Any more than that and you'll just be cutting ragged edges all over your boards. There's a little lever just at the side here. If you lift it up, then you can move your saw up and down to the correct depth. Some people take the safety guard off, but I like to keep it on because I'm not used to using them. Okay, I've decided to cut 2 pieces of wood at the same time. Just saves time and effort. So let's have a go. So I measured up, it's 10.5 from the edge to the blade. So I've set up my little jig here for 10.5 centimetres, and I've clamped them down on both sides so it doesn't move. So you want to power up before you get to that edge. So once you're in line, you're satisfied, just move it back a little bit. Just be careful you don't go over the cable. And once it stops, then it's safe to close it down. Let's see how that went. So I've cut the sides, I've cut the bottoms, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pre-drill where I'm going to put the screws. Simple reason is that it ends up cracking if you don't, so I'll drill it, then I'll countersink it, and hopefully should be alright. First of all, coffee. Always time for a coffee. So I bought these chipboard screws, 500s, and to mark it out where I'm going to drill, I've just got the same thickness. I'm just going to run it along the side, and then I'll put a pencil mark down there. So I've measured about 8 mils in from either side. I'm just going to do a pilot drill. I'm going to do that with all the sides, and then the bottoms I'm going to pre-drill into the sides, because when I've tried to put them in, it was just breaking the chipboard, so it's best to drill the sides as well. So what I'm looking to do now is just drill some pilot holes into the side so I can put my cupboard together without it splitting. This is where two people would come in handy, but my boy decided to go out with his mate, so Easter holidays and all that. So just make sure I've got it lined up. Unfortunately I don't have no clamps either to do corners like this. So with the same size bit, just going to go into the holes where I've already drilled, make sure they're lined up. Same with the bottom. Make sure You've got it lined up and it's square. And then I'm just going to countersink these just so I can get one side in, then the rest of it will be balanced up. See? Be careful how far you go in, else you ain't going to have no wood to, the head will just go through, just a little bit. There we go. So I don't know if you can see it, but it's like a star head on it. I'm just going to fit that in. Again, making sure everything is level and straight. That head sunk in nicely. And I'll do the rest. So that's how it looks now that it's up. Had to get some help getting them up. So it is 150mm carcass, 500mm carcass, and 1000mm carcass. I haven't put no backing on it because it's going to come straight onto the wall. I've had to cut down a floor to ceiling end piece. Reason being is the centre piece doesn't go straight back to the wall because that's only, I believe, a 400, maybe 300. I think it's about 400mm depth in it, whereas the side panels or the units is 600s. So I'm just going to block that off. So I've got these just to fix onto the wall and onto the unit. And my wall's masonry, so I need to use a masonry bit. Bear, come. So that's the unit. I've got to still put up the doors and put up the hanging rails. I'm not sure whether I want a shelf up at the top and then the hanging rails, or just have the hanging rails up there, but then it's going to be quite high to get any clothing down. And that's with the side panel on. I've got a little plinth that I'm going to put up at the top before I put the doors on. But all in all, job done. And a bear. You're not talking. Say hi. Bear. Say hi. He's been good while I've been doing it all.